Good morning, y'all. I am about to make some taco shells. I made the tortilla shells the other day out of hard white wheat and kamut. And so we're going to do that today, but we're going to make taco shells, like taco salad shells, I'm sorry. And so I've measured out my 240 grams here, and I zeroed out my scale. And then, y'all, this is my mill. This is what I use. Y'all pardon all the dust. That's what happens whenever you're milling your own flour. So, but let's see if I can get this over there. You saw the bucket next to it, and this is going to be really loud, but I'm going to show y'all how this works. And it goes into this bucket over here. My grandbaby runs when I do this. She cannot handle the noise. So I'm going to pause y'all. Okay, y'all, we're back. And I have got my 240 grams, a little more. I mean, it was just a little hair over, of half kamut and half hard white wheat for our homemade taco salad shells. Our youngest is coming over today, and we're going to feed her. So for this recipe, I've got 3/4 of a cup of warm milk. I've heated it in the microwave a little bit. And what I'm going to add to this is going to be my salt and vinegar. I've got a tablespoon of vinegar and a teaspoon of salt. And the reason why I'm doing this is because you can use buttermilk for this, but I don't have any buttermilk right now because remember, I make my own buttermilk, and right now it's been a while since I have made any homemade butter. Like I said, I'm not buying the cream right now because it got so high. I will if I catch it on sale, but I've been buying that Amish butter. So that's together. This is my sifted baking powder. And we're going to incorporate that. And then that's 1.5 teaspoons of that, by the way. So we're going to incorporate that really well. And again, like I said, y'all, I sift my baking powder because I don't care how fresh it is or how old it is. It's going to get those little beads in there, those little hard pieces. And you don't want anybody biting into that because it'll suck all the water out of their mouth, and then they're going to be mad at you because they're not enjoying their food. I'm trying to make sure I don't have any in there. That looks like a little hard piece right there. Oop, there it is. Oop, there it is. Anyway, that took a little bit longer than I wanted. So now we're going to add our milk mixture. And all this is the wheat flour that I fresh milled, salt, vinegar, 3/4 of a cup of milk, baking powder, and then we've got some olive oil that we're going to add in here also. And it's a tablespoon of olive oil. So what I'm going to do, so they're not separated, I'm just going to pour that olive oil in there with that milk. And I'm going to whisk it up and add it. All right. So there's that. And my hands are clean. I usually hand mix, y'all. Y'all know I like to hand mix. I like to feel this flour. See how it's doing. Fresh milled flour is gritty, typically. You just have to work it. And we do this thing that we call soaking or auto lease. And that's usually when you're working with yeast. We're not working with any yeast today, but letting it sit helps the grain to soften so it's not gritty. I did find with my homemade fresh milled chicken and dumplings, after they sat in the fridge for a day, there was no grit left to them. And they have the best flavor, y'all. I mean, there is nothing like it. I mean, I am not diabetic, but I am borderline diabetic. However, I will tell you this. I can feel when my blood sugar goes up. Like, that is good and incorporated. So we have to go through a series of letting this stand, letting it soak. And so we're going to do that. I'm going to spray it with a little olive oil. You want this dough to be wet when you're working with it initially, because again, you got to remember that olive oil and milk has to puff up that grain. It's going to soak it up. So we're going to give this about 10 minutes. I've got my bowl over here in the sink where with hot soapy water, and I'm going to wash my hands because again, fresh milled, I am not putting this down my drain. This will harm my drain, okay? But we will be back with y'all shortly. You are paused for a minute. All right, y'all, we are back. And now it is time to knead this. So we're going to, okay, good. See, it's not really sticking to my fingers real bad. I am going to oil my hands a little bit. Move this out of the way. My countertop is clean, y'all. And let me get some oil on my hands. I am using extra virgin olive oil. I have it in a spray bottle too, but it makes a mess. So, but now what we're going to do, and I need to set a timer, we're going to knead this for 10 minutes. So I got my timer set, and I'm just going to knead it, work this dough. Just keep working it. It's a little tacky. I don't want it to stick to my fingers, so I am going to pat a little flour on there. Not much. You know, this needs to be a moist dough because you got to roll it out really thin, and you don't want it to break apart. So what I'm doing right now is I'm creating the elasticity in this dough. The more I work it, the better it'll get. It'll stop sticking to my hands eventually. But anyway, when I get there, I'll be back with y'all. I'm not going to make y'all watch this. Okay, y'all, we're down to about the last 40 seconds, and this is what I've been doing with this dough ball, is kneading it. And this is a necessary portion of what I do when I handle my dough, because this is what helps it to soften up, to help those grains soften up, and it makes it more stretchy. Because see, that's my timer going off, so we're good. See, I want it to be able to stretch out because I'm going to have to put a rolling pin on this. And fresh milled grain, if you don't handle it appropriately, you're never going to get to this point. See how that stretches out there? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my little dough ball. And I've got my pan that I worked in earlier. My pan's clean, bottom and top, inside and out, except for where I did this dough. So anyway, so this is some extra virgin olive oil. It's really good oil. Again, I've said this before, I'll say it again. If your olive oil congeals in the refrigerator, take a little condiment cup and test it. If it congeals or turns solid, you do not have a good olive oil. You want it to stay liquid. I'm having a little trouble again this morning, y'all. I apologize. I need to do my nasal spray. So I wanted to make sure I got that olive oil all over that. Now this is not going to rise. We're not expecting this to rise. But what we are expecting is for it to soften even more. This is a soaking process. So we're going to cover this up again for 10 minutes. And then we're going to make our smaller little dough balls. So you guys are paused for a few minutes. All right, so this has rested for 10 minutes, 10 more minutes. We're going to move our bowl to the side here. And I'm going to be working on my countertop surface. And what I need to do is make, because this is going to be 8 tortillas, so I want to try to cut it into equal parts. So that's why I kind of stretch it out like this, and try to make it as equal as I can, as even as I can. And then I'm going to cut it into 8 equal parts. So let's see how good I am at this. 1, that ain't gonna be good enough, y'all. I'm losing my touch, y'all. Trying to eyeball this. All right, let's go a little bit short on this one. I think I got one of them a little bigger. But anyway, we're going to be fine. It ain't got to be perfect. It's mine. My youngin' I'm feeding today. And so I do want to kind of knead them a little bit before I roll them up. And that all this does is it further softens that grain, y'all. Okay? So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to continue this process right here and put it in this bowl here. Then I'm going to cover it again for another 10 minutes. Because at that point, I should be able to roll this out. Look at that. That's what we're looking for right there. Okay? So don't skimp on your time, y'all. Don't skimp on your soaking. Okay? This is fresh mill grain, and you got to work it a little different. It takes a little time, a little patience. But I'm going to pause, y'all. We'll be back shortly. Okay, we've got them all worked into little dough balls, and they're coated with olive oil. And now we're going back to another 10-minute soak. All right, y'all. These have rested, and now another 10 minutes. And now we're going to roll these out, and then we are going to drape them over our taco bowl molds. And the oven is preheating at 375 right now. So we are about ready to get this party going with some taco salad bowls. Let's see how this goes. Looks like some of this may be a little smaller than what I need, but we're gonna see. I may have to press a couple of them together and see what happens. Let me see how this works out on my bowl. I've got some canola oil over here. You don't really use olive oil on for tacos and tortillas and all of that. I don't have a spray bottle, so I am going to do this my way. Make sure I get this thing all coated. Let's see how this works out. These are not very big anyway. That's going to be just fine. I can stretch it a little bit. Yeah, that's going to work out fine. Okay, and I am actually going to put some more canola oil on this on the outside because we want this nice and golden. Okay, so there you go, and I'll be back with y'all. I'm gonna roll out the rest of them, get them on my rack in the oven, and I will be back with y'all shortly. Y'all look how pretty. Let's see if that's too hot. Ooh, and I've already tasted one. They are delicious. So this is about 8 minutes at 375 in my oven. Okay, I'm excited about these. I hope my youngin' and my husband really enjoy these. I will be doing this recipe again in the future. I hope I've taught you something, and I hope you enjoy this recipe. I hope your family does. God bless y'all, and have a wonderful day.